Hello again! Well, you have probably guessed it last week as well, but I have decided to go with the orangey floral fabric to create the bed curtains for the Alison Davies bed. And something Janine mentioned last week in the comments is that the design of the flowers is a bit similar to the flowers on, the simple ones, and that one has the same color of the wallpaper. And I noticed that as well, and I was wondering if anyone else would, but Janine did. So those are little things that I like. And as I said last week as well, it's probably a little bit of a daring choice, or a little bit different, but my tastes are a little bit different than most people. And also what I often do is that I choose an artistic approach to making miniatures more than a realistic approach. Yes, I want them to look realistic, but that's not my ultimate goal. I just enjoy creating something wonderful, and then the creative part or the artistic part is more important to me than the realistic part. And what I also thought I could do is I do have a lot of fabric, of the silk fabric, because I also wanted to use it for the curtains perhaps. But I'm not sure about that yet. I don't know what kind of curtains I will make, but I have plenty of fabric, so I thought I could do 2 sets of bed hangings, bed curtains, and see what will look better. I think that if they're all with the green silk, it will be a little bit boring. But, I could do that. If I have time, I'll do that. But this, I think, will look, the orange, it's more like a salmon orange color. I think on the video, it's more orange than in reality. This is much softer, at least the way I'm looking at it on my screen, than in this light. It's much brighter on screen. But I'll have to have a go at making them. And also, I'm still not sure how I want them. I do like that the inside shows in the negative colorway, the green background with the orange pattern or the orange flowers. I do like that. So I'll keep that as the inside. And then I have to decide on what to do with the curtains. I think I'll keep them starting from back here, behind this, because in the original piece, the curtains start here in the middle, I think, and they go in front of this support. And I think that would be a bit much. It would cover, you wouldn't be able to see the inside, and it would just cover too much. And that's because, I think also because this fabric is a little bit more heavy than this silk. But we'll see. Okay, I just wanted to show you this. This is the Instagram account of Mini Creations, and that's Christine Lee. And she makes beautiful things. She's building a beautiful doll's house. You can see that here. And she makes beautiful flowers. Really fantastic. But I also noticed, and this was last week when I was working on the bed, I noticed she'd done the same bed, and it is just gorgeous. Look at that. I really love that. And this is the classic way of doing the bed. It's the same way as the original bed was draped, with the curtains, the bed curtains like that, and the little, well, I don't know what you would call that, valance maybe. And I'm not going to do it like that, but I just wanted to show this to you because it's really good. And there's another photo somewhere. Let me see where it is. Oh, this one. Here you can really see it. It's gorgeous, really is. I think her drapery is absolutely fantastic. So good. Anyway, so I was just looking for those for this account, and because I saved it, and then while I was searching for it in my in my own Instagram, I noticed that I saved, and this was months ago. This was last year actually. Christine Lee's version. I only noticed that last week when I was working on my own, and but this one. Let me see. And this one is by Ingela Alva from Sweden. And she did the same bed back in September last year. Also really lovely, very different. And I quite like the way she's left the front open, and that's what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to leave that open, because my fabric is a little bit heavy, and but also really lovely. I really like it. So two very different styles, and this is a little bit more romantic, but both very, very nice. And I think the one I'm going to do is going to be very different as well. Lovely. And I just noticed on Ingela's bed that she has upholstered these edges as well. And I really quite like the way that looks. I think that's a really good idea. And I don't think Christine did that. No, Christine didn't do that. She did it the same way I did, just with gold, although I think she painted it, and of course I didn't use paint. But anyway, this is something you could do as well. I really like that. Looks really good. I was just about to start filming for my vlog, and then this. The painters came. They're doing the outside of my house, or actually the outside of my studio, my workshop. So it needs to be done, but that means I have to postpone the filming, and my whole planning has gone out of the window. In the middle of the room is a beautiful table by Mark Gooch. On it are some wonderful treasures, like this melon-shaped silver tea set by Mike Sparrow, and a collection of sewing accoutrements. The ivory spool holder and the tape measure are by Vonas Miniaturen. The silver scissors are by Jens Storp, and the silk thread spools are by David Edwards. You just watched a clip from episode 4 of my video series of my Amsterdam Canal House Single 224. And in the comments of that video, Rebecca asked if she could see the tape measure on the table up close. Now I happen to have 3 of these tape measures, and they're in both of my dolls' houses. So, here they are. I thought I'd just go into the garden to escape the noise a little bit. But of course I then have to contend with other noises, like planes coming over and animals making noise. But I'll just sit down here. And Rebecca left a comment and she asked to see this one. So you can see it's tiny. It's a tape measure, and I'll try to pull it out a little bit. There we go. And then you can wind it up again by turning that little handle. Isn't that wonderful? And the others do the same thing. Here's one. Hope you can see that with the shade and the and the sun. And they're tiny, so. And again, turn that. And then it just rewinds back in. I really like that. And the third one I have is a wooden one. Pull it out. Oh. And wind it again. So beautiful. And I have quite a little collection of sewing accoutrements. And I must say these are some of my favorites, and probably because they work. Okay, the bed curtains. Now I have thought about how I'm going to tackle this, and I am going to I'm going to need a pattern, and I'm going to use just a little bit of well, you could use kitchen. This is similar. This is like workshop paper. It's similar to kitchen paper, kitchen towel, and actually that's also quite good. The length is quite good, so I can just drape this and then make a pattern from it and see how that goes. And I think I'll have to make a slit here because it will have to go to the outside otherwise. A felt tip marker. So that would be about the width. Now, let me see how big that is. See, I made 2 marks, one at the top, one at the bottom. If I cut it like that, let's just go ahead and do that. So if I have the fabric in here, inside the crown, like that, and then I don't want to hide the bedposts here. So that means that if I attach another piece of fabric here, for the back, and it will be wider. I'm just using this bit. Then I can attach these two strips of fabric, and there has to be a split here so that the bedpost will show. So on the top it's going behind the bedpost or the supports, the canopy supports, and on the bottom it will be open like that. So I think I will do that. So I'll mark this, so this will be mid. So in Dutch we say midden achter, so that means mid back or behind. And I don't know what the sewing terms are in English, but so this will be, and then if I put it on the fabric, I don't know if any of most of you know how to sew. So what you do, if you have a piece of if you have a pattern like this and it says mid behind, then usually what you do is the fabric is folded in two like that. See? Of course, it's exactly straight because you have to look at the pattern, and probably I want the flower exactly in the middle. So I folded it, and then I can put the pattern on it like that against the fold, and then I cut over here, and then I have an exact, like a butterfly going out, opening up. So I think that will be okay. And then, well, actually I'm already done if that, because then I have this one for the front, or for the side, this one for one side like that, this one for the other side, and then this one for the back. So that already is a basic pattern. Now what I'll do is I will not be cutting my lovely beautiful brocade fabric. And oh, by the way, my friend about the brocade, my friend said, what do you mean a brocade? It's not a brocade. There's no gold or silver in it. No, there is no gold or silver thread in it at all. But a brocade basically is a type of weave. And in a brocade, and I had to look it up because I didn't know the English terms for it. But if the this green thread back here is creating the pattern on the front, but you can see the thread, the weave, it's floating. It's not part of the structure of the fabric, and that's one of the characteristics of a brocade. So this part of the, in this case the green part, is a supplementary weave, and it's not part of the structural part of the fabric. And yes, oftentimes brocade does have beautiful gold or silver thread in it, but not necessarily. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, that I don't want to cut into my beautiful fabric, my beautiful silk. So I need to test the pattern first, and I'll do that by just using a bit of old cloth. And this actually is an old sheet. And there is my test fabric. And that should fit in here. And it does. One for the right hand side and one for the left hand side. Now I also have to mark, and I didn't, and I should mark where the splits should start on the side. This is over here. Then the split should start here. What is a little bit of a shame is that you won't be able to see the green, the beautiful green outside. So maybe I'll just pull that back a little bit. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I should cut it in half. Now I think I'm going to sew it by hand. So I'm going to need some silk thread. Might go for that one. It's a little bit bright. Maybe that one. Could use green as well. But then if it it might show on the other side. Not sure I like that. So maybe this yellow one. And I have all these colors and still it's not the right one. And actually, if you look at the threads on the fabric, the darker gold looks the best. I think. So I think I'll use that. And there's another green, which is better still than the other green. So that's really the same color as the green in the fabric. So take this away, and I'll keep these two. And I think I'll do a little test to see which color looks best on the silk. I've done a quick test, just a small piece of fabric, and I stitched the seam in 2 colors. And I am a little bit rusty hand sewing, but so it's not that neat. But here on the other side, you can really see that I quite like the green, but you can really see it. Which could be nice if you're a really neat stitcher. I don't know if I can do that at the moment. And here the yellow or the gold is much better. It's not perfect, but I had hoped to have it finished by now, but you know, best laid plans and all that. I didn't have time. I did stitch this seam or these seams, and I used my machine for that. And as you saw, I did some tests, and this has to go in there. So I hope to finish it next week, and because after that I'll be really busy, and I will tell you that another time, but it has to do with Miniatures in Tune, which is an organization who organize classes, workshops, miniature workshops in Denmark, and it's really fun, and I'm going there, but I also have to do a lot of work for it, and I'll tell you later. The other thing, there, kind of like that. The other thing is that I told you last time that this episode would be about the museum in The Hague, about the doll's house there. And I did do a lot of work on that video already, on that episode already, but I had some technical difficulties, so I couldn't continue with that video, and I'll just have to do that some other time, and I'm not going to promise you when that's going to be, because I just don't know. There. So for today, this is it. So, until next time.